Good day, everybody. I'm David Foreman, better known in the industry as the herbal pharmacist. And today I've got a special guest with me. Actually, I've had this special guest on 3 other videos as well, George Kokkinis. He's the CEO and founder of Pharmako Biotechnologies based in Sydney, Australia. Oh my goodness, have we been having fun. I actually was introduced to Pharmako and their technologies because of a couple of ingredients that I was actually working with and now actually a consumer of. And being a guy who likes to take things to another level, I wanted to learn more. So, i.e., we're interviewing George on 4 different technologies that Pharmako has. The 4 are liposperse, which is actually the 2 ingredients I currently take. Utilize this technology. Aquacell, CPO, or compressible powdered oils. And today's topic is PlexoZome. And PlexoZome is liposomal. And I know this one's going to blow our minds because I did a little homework beforehand. So George, first, welcome. And thank you so much for your time in recording the videos for the education industry.
Yeah, thank you.
So I learned something very valuable about not just PlexoZome, but liposomes in general. And it's kind of sad because I'm a guy that's a man of integrity. That's probably the most important thing to me. And I learned that not all ingredients that are quote liposomal or liposomal are liposomal. Can you explain that? Because then I think that'll dovetail really well into like
Sure.
why is PlexoZome different? So whichever order you want to go in, but I was extremely disappointed because that's a huge marketing thing. People put it on their labels, and it just ticked me off that people might be getting scammed.
Yeah. Look, I'd like to think that people aren't doing it intentionally. And the reason being is that what is happening in the liposome is way beyond the wavelength of light. So you can't see what's happening. And the only way to verify things is with a lot of tricky testing, expensive equipment required for testing, etc., which not a lot of people have access to. But look, I liken liposomes to making a cake. And I say to people, look, if you take flour, water, eggs, milk, sugar, and put it into a bowl, have you got a cake? And the answer is no, you haven't.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, and then it's like, well, you mix those ingredients. Have you got a cake now? And then the answer is still no, you haven't. You've got some dough that'll make a cake, but you haven't got a cake. And the only factor that's missing in this cake scenario is you've got to spend energy on this dough. You've got to hit it with a lot of energy, and in this case, it comes in the form of heat for it to produce the cake. Then you got your garnishes and everything afterwards. But put that aside. A liposome is very similar. A lot of people think, oh, okay, I'll just get some lecithin, a bit of water, a bit of glycerin, and mix them all together. I've got a liposome. It's like, well, not really. You've got the ingredients that can form a liposome if they're given the right conditions. But without giving them the right condition, you've got a mixture, and 9 times out of 10, that mixture is a thick, gluggy mixture. Okay. What you need to do is you need to hit that mixture with, again, a lot of energy. And in this case, it doesn't come in the form of heat. It comes in the form of either high shear, ultrasound, some extreme methods and sources of energy. Now, the reason why you need energy in this case is you're engineering, you're building these tiny, tiny spheres. Now, in the previous video, we said that my cells are 1,000th of the thickness of a hair. Liposomes are 10 to 20 times smaller than that again.
Wow.
Yeah. So you're talking about super tiny structures that have formed a bilayer membrane around your active ingredient. Okay, or sometimes the active ingredient is incorporated into that membrane. So where before we were saying the other technologies were mainly for lipophilic active ingredients, liposomes can do both lipophilic and hydrophilic as well. Okay, so you can have your lipophilic active in the membrane of the liposome, and you can have the hydrophilic active in the core of the liposome. Okay,
so I can mix a vitamin C, which would be right, hydrophilic, with a vitamin D, which is lipophilic.
That's right.
In the same, I know that was super simplistic. I apologize to everybody else, but I just want to make sure everybody gets, like, that's what I heard. So okay, cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. Look, it's a tough topic, you know. So it's covered in in your pharmacy world. It's an area called nanomedicine.
Right.
You know, so it's a new part of pharmacy, and it's very, very promising for a lot of different drugs. So yeah, look, I think yes, not all liposomes are liposomes out there. If somebody sells you a liposome and it's a dry powder, or it's a gluggy mixture, they haven't given you a liposome. Okay, so to create that spherical structure with a bilayer membrane, you need certain conditions, and one of those conditions is water. You got to have water present. No water, no liposome.
Okay.
And is it possible to dry a liposome? Yes, it is, but it does crack and fall apart. It does recreate itself when you do add water to it, but it's a far larger structure than what the structure is on its own, already created in water and not dried, you know.
So I think I saw there were 4 different types of testing you do to prove that what you have is what you're saying you have
Yeah.
is actually what you have. What is that correct? Is it 4?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So look, we use an instrument that measures the size. Now it doesn't give you any more detail other than the size. So you could have a square, you could have a triangle, you could have a rocky surface. All it will do is it will say from this point to that point, it's X nanometers in diameter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We then use another instrument which gives us a bit of insight into the electrical charge of the ball that's been created. And then we use which is called zeta potential, sorry. And then we use another instrument which is a transmission electron microscope, which can allow you to see down at the molecular level. So with that electron microscope, you can actually see the bilayer membrane, the spherical structure, and beyond, basically.
So I'm curious. So I mean, for those people who aren't familiar with the nanotechnology, I know for a while there was a period in the natural product industry. I know, like you said, I know it's been utilized in pharma because that's the world I come from. But for people that aren't familiar with ingredients that are utilizing this technology, can you give everyone a little idea of like why I would want to? Because like I'm a consumer of vitamin D. I actually get my vitamin D levels checked on a regular basis. Like, why would I want to look for things that are nano versus not nano? Or in
Yeah,
this case, plexosome versus not plexosome, because I know based on what you just said on testing, if I'm utilizing plexosome and the technology, then I know that I'm getting what you're saying I'm getting.
yeah, yeah. Well, look, we put everything through vigorous testing and then also stability as well, so we make sure and with our products you'll see quite a few of them where they need to be refrigerated while others are good at room temperature, so we don't hide the fact. So if it's a B12 style product, it needs refrigeration. Otherwise, it won't go the distance. But what liposomes do is they're extremely tiny structures. By taking them orally, swishing it around in your mouth, you can get absorption through your buccal membrane
Wow. Okay.
straight into the bloodstream. Okay, so from a orally taken product, it's the closest that you can get to an IV, basically,
Right.
an IV
Yeah.
drip. Yeah. Um, so yeah, by taking it that way, you'll take some through your certain membranes. You'll take the rest of that will get swallowed, and again through the stomach will find its way into circulation. The beauty of these structures is that they're basically made up of the same ingredients that make up your cells in your body. Okay, so it doesn't appear to the body to be a foreign structure. Um, it you can make them bypass the immune system,
Wow. Okay.
and get past all your white blood cells, and allow them to stay in circulation longer. And because they stay in circulation longer, they can get to the target site eventually. Okay, so if you're targeting, let's say um, oh, your eye.
Okay.
Okay, so you wanted to deliver lutein, let's say, for example, to the eye. Um, Currently, you take your lutein supplement, and some of it gets digested, some of it gets thrown out,
Right.
some of it finds its way to the cells in your eye. With this, it's you can take less and have it more targeted, basically. So you could put it into an eye drop, for example. But even taking it orally, the circulation allows it to get to the eye eventually, where it can be incorporated into.
For people that are watching this that may not, what George said might have slipped by you. He was talking about interaction with the immune system, and so I'm going to translate that real quick, George, if you're cool with that,
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
I
Go
don't
for
think a
it.
lot of people understand the physiology of what's going on. So if he said everything that makes up this liposome, your body already is, it's already part of your body, and so so that's why it can, get past your immune system when you have something enter your body that is not part of itself. Then that's the first like response of the immune system, is to go, wait a minute, this doesn't belong, and then the immune system will act to get rid of that substance. So that's why what he was just describing is so important, because all the components of this liposome are the body is already familiar with, so there's not going to be that, we'll call it, negative immune response. I mean, obviously, if it's an allergen, it's a positive immune response. But in this case, you're taking something good for you. You don't want your body to just start to gobble it up or neutralize it or whatever it's going to do with it. So anyway, I'm sorry to interrupt you, George, but I wanted people
No,
around
no,
around like that was probably one of the biggest things right there is that really differentiated. And I think there's probably 95% of the people have no idea what how it means, like that the immune system even has anything to do with that. I think they think about
yeah,
viruses and bacteria and all that stuff. So anyway, keep going now.
yeah.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, it is an important point because the other thing too is even most of the things that you take into your body, they've absorption is only one hurdle, you know. You
Yep.
then got to get past the immune system, and then you got to get past you got to find your way to where you have to go
Yeah.
to make things happen, you
Or
know.
your liver, or like, I mean, there's all these
Yeah,
things that can get in the way of in
yeah,
pharmacy we
that's
talked
right.
about first pass. You get one pass through the body and then there's a good chance it's gone. So it's
Yeah,
nice to hear that.
yeah.
Awesome. So is there anything else about PlexoZome you'd like to share? I think we did a really killer job on this, but I just want to make sure in my head, based on everything I read, and you educated me a little bit more, but is there anything else you want to add?
No, it's a tough topic. It's a really
It
tough
is.
topic.
Well, and I know I think we had promised in one of the videos like these would be like 5 minutes. I'm sure this is like 10 to 15, but whatever. At least I think it was entertaining to me, and so I'm hoping it was entertaining to everybody else and educational, of course. So George,
Yeah,
I really appreciate you taking time to do these videos with me. The website Pharmako, by the way, Co is with a K-O, Pharmako, PHARMAKO.com.au is the website. You guys are always at the conventions and conferences around the world. And I just want to thank you again for taking time to bring everybody up to speed on your 4 really killer technologies. I mean, it's kind of weird. I guess I'm geek, a nerd, pick what your word is, George, but I get turned on by nerdy things and your technology gets me all fired up. So thank you.
we call them propeller heads.
Hey, come on, man. You own a company that does it, so you obviously have one too. Cheers.
All
Thank
right,
you.
thanks. Bye.